Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Giancarlo Cervino, independent art advisor, and I've had the privilege of working with living artists for over 30 years. In that time, my focus has always been on helping artists launch their careers or finally gain the recognition they deserve for a lifetime of work and sacrifice. This experience has taught me a crucial lesson. Talent is not always tied to age or fame. Some of the most exceptional artists I've encountered are not household names or fresh art school graduates. In fact, many have labored in obscurity for decades. They produced remarkable works that simply haven't been recognized or appreciated enough, often due to a lack of proper branding or exposure. Yet that in no way diminishes the quality or brilliance of their art. It has become my mission to shine a light on such talents, to ensure that great art does not remain in the shadows. So tonight, I invite you to join me in discovering one such underappreciated talent. Imagine an artist whose work moves you deeply, even though you've never heard their name before. My aim is to bridge that gap between artist and audience. I believe true art speaks a universal language. It communicates feelings, expressions, and messages that touch our common humanity. Age, fame, or origin do not define the power of this language. When you stand before a compelling painting, it doesn't matter whether the artist is a young newcomer or someone who has quietly honed their craft for 50 years in exile. What matters is the emotional truth that artwork conveys. Tonight, we will witness art that is eloquent and emotionally alive, presented with a cinematic flair that I hope will captivate you. Each piece we'll see carries a part of the artist's soul, and through it, perhaps, a part of our own. It is my great honor to introduce Evgeniya Buyanova, the featured artist of this presentation. Evgeniya is a Ukrainian artist of the diaspora, a woman who fled the Soviet Union at a young age and journeyed far, both in geography and in spirit. She trained under the old Soviet academic art system, mastering its rigorous techniques, yet her work powerfully transcends those ideological confines. One art critic beautifully described Evgeniya's career as a rainbow, a bridge from the grey storm of an oppressive era to a bright explosion of colour and light. Indeed, from the darkness of that early regime-run training, she emerged into the brilliant sunlight of her own creative freedom. Evgeniya quickly proved herself an exceptional portraitist, among other talents. Her portraits in particular possess a rare, arresting power. In these works, the gaze of her figures tells a story. As Vittorio Sgarbi, the renowned Italian art critic, observed, even Evgeniya's sketch studies captured hard and expressive gazes in just a few strokes. In each pair of painted eyes you sense hardship and hope, dreams and disillusionment. In her finished portraits, the deepest secret dreams and sorrows of her subjects seem to unravel in their eyes with profound simplicity and spontaneity. This gaze-driven emotional intensity gives her art a boundless human and psychological richness. When you look at her paintings, it feels as though the soul of her subject is gazing back, forging a direct emotional connection with the viewer. Her work has been exhibited at the National Gallery of the Cayman Islands and is represented in distinguished private collections internationally. Beyond portraiture, Evgeniya Buyanova's oeuvre spans a broad spectrum of themes and stories. For the purposes of our showcase tonight, we have grouped her works into three main categories, each a chapter in her artistic narrative. First, the works related to war. Powerful images born of conflict, history, and personal witness. Given Evgeniya's background and the state of the world, this theme is especially poignant and timely. Next, the works that spring from dreams, surreal and poetic creations drawn from the well of imagination and the subconscious. And finally, the works celebrating femininity, paintings that honor the strength, grace, and spirit of women, often with an intimate, reverential warmth. Now, as we transition to the next slide, we begin our journey with the first chapter, the art of war. This is a subject Evgeniya approaches with raw honesty and humanity, and one that, sadly, remains as relevant as ever. Let us step into the canvases marked by conflict and see how this remarkable artist transforms pain and resilience into visual poetry. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Goodbye. A romantic embrace freezes time, a soldier lifting the woman he loves, her white dress, a fragile flag against the dust of departure. Look at her hand on his face, tender, but tense. Behind them the rotor's breath and the waiting men remind us this kiss may be a last one. It is a scene of courage and devotion, yet charged with the quiet terror of not knowing if the hero she loves will ever return. He returns, but only as a ghost made stone. The soldier stands monumental and unreachable. His rifle hangs like a final verb. She collapses at his boots, hands searching for a pulse that isn't there, while her shadow stretches further than her body can. Behind them, the flag-draped procession says what words cannot. Love remains, but it must now embrace absence. This is the instant when romance becomes mourning, and hope yields to the terrible quiet that follows war. At the edge of the sea, she stands alone. Grief turns to vision. He returns, no longer a soldier, but love itself, lifting her, carrying her as if weightless down the pier. Dream and memory overlap. The woman in red is her waking self, the embrace the echo of the man taken by war. The horizon becomes a threshold, the pier a bridge between worlds. In this brief mercy of sleep, she is held again, just long enough to breathe, and to believe that love can outlast loss. In the glare of a field hospital, a military doctor sits with hands knotted, his stethoscope suddenly useless. To his left, a young patient's chest no longer rises, the ventilator's rhythm has fallen silent. His first response is a raw curse. Bloody hell! Rage at the futility of war. Then his shoulders sink, and the curse turns into a prayer. Head bowed, he commends the boy's soul. This is the instant when medicine meets its limit, when a healer can only mourn and hope to send a soul safely home. This is a minute of silence. In Britain, the poppy is remembrance. Each November we pin it to our lapels and lay it at every memorial. Here, in an Afghan poppy field, the symbol cuts both ways. She pauses, raises one bloom to her face. Behind her, the patrol moves on. The flower is at once a medal for the fallen comrades she's thinking of, and the crop that bankrolls the fight. For 60 quiet seconds, the noise of war fades, and the perfume becomes a prayer for those who didn't come home. And now the dream series. Here, love steps out of the dream and onto the grass. Spring of Soul captures the instant desire becomes real. He gathers her close, bow tie undone. She yields, crowned with flowers, her dress opening like a blossom in warm light. The garden breathes, and time slows to a single heartbeat. His gaze is fierce and tender, her smile is surrender. A private waltz beneath blooming trees, where fantasy turns to touch, and the soul learns that spring is not a season, but a kiss. The lights fall to charcoal and flame. Two bodies, sculpted in shadow and red, meet mid-breath. His arm anchors, her back arcs like a bow about to break. The dress is the only colour, and it burns. Steps become pulses, technique melts into instinct, the count yields to heartbeat. This isn't performance, it's surrender. Desire takes the lead, and the line between dance and intimacy disappears. For one charged moment, movement is touch, rhythm is skin, and love needs no other language. This is Running in Paradise, a triptych about solitude and deliverance. Right panel. A figure curls into himself, held by shadow. Left. A woman opens to light, colour waking her skin. Centre. They find each other, hand in hand, stepping straight into the sun, as if water had become sky. Their bodies lift, gravity lets go. Violets, golds, and rose carry them forward. This is happiness at full speed. It tears us from loneliness and lets us run, weightless, toward a shared horizon, paradise made of two. This is flowers. Among orchids and gold, a woman blooms. Light beads on her skin like dew on petals. The arch of her back opens to the sun. Here the body is not object but garden, the most beautiful flower nature ever made. Around her, blossoms whisper. Within her, spring answers. Desire and innocence share one perfume. This is loneliness. A woman reclines on a throne of carved ivory. Pearls slip through her fingers like trophies or receipts. A pink ribbon keeps a trace of innocence, but look at her feet, bare, unpolished, the map of humbler roads. Has she climbed to the top only to discover the hush of an empty room? Or is this the afterfall, wealth reduced to memory? Her skin holds the light of success, her posture curls with doubt. Between ornament and silence, she counts what remains when applause fades, herself, and a question money cannot answer. This is dreaming. A woman surrendered to sleep, cradled by ruffled roses and a tide of silver silk. The pose is effortless, the breath unhurried. Light pools along her shoulder, travels the curve of her hip, and fades into the folds like waves. In this sanctuary, desire softens into peace. Skin becomes landscape, the pillow a moon. She isn't posing, she's returning briefly to herself. The room quiets, time loosens, and we're invited to hear the silence of happiness, the pure serenity of a dream that holds her safe. Behold, lust. Gold becomes a chapel, pearls a rosary unfastened. She lifts her arm, and light travels the curve of breast and hip like a small flame. Her gaze drifts past us, calm, unapologetic, as if to say, look at beauty, not at sin. The erotic charge is undeniable, but it isn't shame, it's power held lightly. Desire here is radiance, the body is icon, pearls a soft hymn to touch. For a breath, judgment falls away and we're left with wonder. Thank you for sharing this journey with me. We've walked through Evgeniya Buyanova's world, the courage of war, the tenderness of dreams, and the strength and mystery of women. If a work has spoken to you, I invite your offers and acquisition inquiries at info@artforhnwi.com. Guide prices are shown on each slide. Offers are welcome. Please note, prices exclude transport and any applicable taxes. My team can assist with global shipping and documentation. I look forward to hearing from you.